Hello folks, this is Audiotron 1003 and this is another one of my vintage Lego sets. This one's a little different. This is from 1981. It's basically a Jeep. It contains 176 Technic elements. Now it's been a long time since I've bothered with Technic Lego of any description, and I've pretty much got rid of all of them except for my 3 vintage sets and my 4x4 limited edition crawler. And I thought, well, since I've been doing a lot of vintage Lego sets recently, I thought I might as well do this one because it's escaped my attention in the past. For the sake of my playlists, even though it's a 1980s set, I'm going to stick it with the 70s vintage. So this is the box, and I'll try not to tip everything all over the place. So we have the base. Sorry, well, it's not really the base. It's the front side, if you look at it from my perspective, and then you've got one end showing you the finished item or model, and this is the other. Looks pretty much the same, and the back or the spine of the box. Now this is where I cleverly do this without tipping everything all over the place. It shows you in different languages how old you have to be to build it, an alternative build, and I've done this before. I'm doing it now. I'll try not to, and that is tip everything out. And this is the I can do this without tipping up. This is the back showing alternative models, and there's the back end of the vehicle. Excuse my fingers, it's a bit difficult because everything's going to fall out. And we have a couple of pictures of the inner workings. Now my plan, if I can do this, which is failing miserably, just like the basic set I reviewed some years ago, I'm going to try and show you what everything's like inside. Now, originally, these were all in their compartments. They've been moved around a bit, so let's put a few things back. So, back in those days, Lego set boxes were they were compartmentized. So everything had a place and a place for everything. The walls of the box were made of polystyrene, and if you wanted to post these things, they weren't crushed like today's boxes were, and they were just taped down like so, and it had a protective cover over this. Now with the 70s sets, I'm very strict with those. I want every element to be period correct wherever possible, but as I was looking at this before I made the video, I noticed some modern elements, and I've decided rather than source them, I will just stick with what's in here. So for example, this is an old element, and I know that there's some plates in here that are more recent, like this one. See, you've got the tiny holes in the under studs, as I call them. But I'm not bothered about this because it's not the same as the old sets. Anyway, enough of that waffling. The instructions, if I can lift this out, bear in mind this is old, I don't want to break the actual tray, but it lifts out usually with 2 hands, and then underneath you have a flap. You take this backing paper out, as so. I'm trying not to damage this too much. I would normally use 2 hands to do this. And then in the bottom there's a trough with the instructions, and underneath that is a list of all the elements I need to make sure this is complete, which I printed off from Bricklink. And this is basically how it was back in the day, which is pretty much like it is now. So they've moved on from just showing you spot the different kind of way of building. It would be difficult with Technic anyway, it's very complicated. So these are the instructions. Unlike the small pocket money sets, I'm not going to show too much because it's a bit difficult and the video would take too long, but it just gives you an idea how they used Technic bricks, system bricks and plates, vintage Technic elements to build basic crude versions that we now have specialized elements for. So this is the instruction manual. My next step in this video, if I can do this, is to pause the video, set the elements out, let you have a look at what was available back then, and then build the model. So folks, I've managed to lay out everything that's in the set. We have various plates, Technic plates, standard plates. There's the gears for what they're worth, the wheels, various axles right down to 2M. Everything was in black in those days, no differentiation between odds and evens. There's the old style connectors, and we have the pins. Now these want to roll everywhere, so I've had to sort of rein them in with a couple of axles. We've got the bushings and half bushings, your Technic bricks of different lengths, okay, and we have the 4s, 2s, standard bricks, slope bricks, a few tiles, and all that. Now I know that some of these bricks or tiles are new grey and some of them are old grey, but I decided, because this set is just for the love of ownership as opposed to being a purist, I'm not too bothered about it at the moment, but I might consider, now that I've discovered the benefit of Bricklink, I might actually make the effort to buy proper bricks and elements, but for the time being I'm happy with the way it is now. So this is it. So just like in the other vintage videos, I'm going to attempt to build this, and hopefully the tablet won't switch off in the meantime. So once again I will pause the video. Okay folks, I've managed to build it. For me it seemed to take forever, but in reality it probably didn't. I was worried that my tablet would unpause itself and stop. Now it's been a few years since I built this, and I have a lot of these elements left over. Now in a modern Lego set, unless it was a special set where you built several things out of the main inventory, you wouldn't get this many large elements left. So what I suspect is this is for alternative builds, because I wouldn't have bought all these as spares. Now I have had a look at the finished article. Sorry, it says me remembering to put this on, and basically it's complete. That's the box as it is, with the seat and suspension and everything, and pretty much this is what I have. And there's your suspension. It's very limited and very basic compared to now, but it does work. You have your steering wheel, which does work. It's just a bit difficult for me to do with one hand, but there you go. No power functions, very basic set. Everything had anti-friction pins. Now for some reason it's not doing something right. That's probably because I've rushed this, so I apologise if it's not turning properly. I would normally build a set really carefully, and I think what I've done is I've not engaged something properly. So it's me trying to do things on the fly, but I can assure you when it works properly, it does actually turn. I think what I've done is I've in my rush to get this finished, I've not built it properly round here. But for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to leave it for what it is. So this is the 1981 sort of Jeep dune buggy type thing. This is what it is. Nothing exciting. It's just a basic Technic set of the day. But back in the day, I would have been thrilled to bits to get something like this. Nowadays, you would probably consider this a bit too basic for what you expect out of a modern Technic Lego set. The other builds, there's a dune buggy or dragster type thing. That's what that is, and there's plenty more pages, and that's what this is. And if I can get the glare off this, so I have actually built this in the past. I think if I do another one of these videos, I won't bother with the spreading the elements out and doing all that and then rushing to get it finished. I will just build the alternative model and then just let you know what it looks like in the flesh or the plastic, as it were. So this is the rest of the instructions showing you alternative features and functions and basics and other such things. So these are actually photographs, so they're not drawings, whereas they are. And basically this is it. There's a kid concentrating on building it. Let's get the glare off this so as you can see it properly. Maybe he's done a better job than I have, because he hasn't had to rush it to put a YouTube video up on his channel. Back in the day I would have been the same. But anyway, interestingly enough, they don't have a size guide for the plates and the axles. They just sort of show this on the front. And also interestingly, there's no odd numbers. They're all even. That probably explains why everything is black. And once again, there's another picture of the set. So 8845 from 1981, 176 pieces. And here it is. So for the final time, if I put this back on here, there we go. For the final time, there's a look at it. So thank you for watching. Bye.